hitting hits and misses, explosions and fireballs.
Exactly. Savage, what's up? And we are live and in colour. Sometimes black and white, depending on the camera. But we're here. Quick announcement before we get started. And Nutty Tart dropping a Twitch Prime sub. 14-month resub. Whoa! Yippee. I didn't start. Oh, yep, you can hype it up. And hashtag stay the fuck at home, people. Definitely. Trashy dropping a 10-month resub.
Yay.
Yay. Oh, that's the text to speak. I forgot to turn it off. Awesome. No, Nutty can't type today, but we got a few resubs popping in there, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All the subs help do the things and the stuff. Quick announcement for those that haven't figured it out already and not been following the tweeter and stuff. There are no, as of pretty much now, there are no more scheduled gaming streams for a while. I'm going to focus on some solely on D&D for a bit, just because that's what I'm really into and it's awesome. And why not? Doesn't mean there will be no gaming streams, just means there won't be any scheduled. So if just keep an eye on the Twitter or Discord, that's where I announce everything before we go live and stuff anyway. So just keep an eye out on those platforms, maybe even Facebook. Not that I go there much, but also too, for those again in the Twitter and the Discord, you would have seen the announcement that Campaign 2, the Curse of Strahd module, has been confirmed. We will be starting Session 0 on the 30th of April New Zealand time, 29th of April for those Americans that are playing. So for those of us in the Oceanic time zone, it'll be 11 a.m. start for us on Thursday. So if you're in Australia, obviously a couple of hours before that. So if you want to come and hang out, you'll have to be up early. Running approximately 3 hours. As usual, pretty much same sort of setup as we have for this campaign, only it's an official module, and we are running with some other streamers. So we've got Deathvale from Mixer, we've got Mr. Malice who's here on Twitch. We also have Twin Gats Gaming, is also formerly of Mixer, now on Twitch, and we have our friend Mr. Savage Beastco in the chat here. He'll be joining us as well.
Did he kill his previous party?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. So it will be a module, so the backgrounds don't really matter too much on that. Holy Jeebus Christ. It was all the auto hosts. No, it was all the auto hosts. I set it up to go through the Scorp bot so I could see who auto hosts me. We got a lot of auto hosts, guys. Awesome. Yes, Session 0. We're going to do a Session 0 where the players will... Because we've got some noob players, so we're going to go through and explain some rules, sit out some house rules. We're going to roll their HP, things like that. So it's the Session 0 is probably only going to run for a couple of hours, maybe, depending on sort of how things go. We may start the actual campaign in Session 0, probably not, but then Session 1 will come following week. So it will be a weekly show, same as what we're doing with Sunday campaign. Going home with the host, thank you very much. So we're going to have campaign 1, the homebrew campaign, every Sunday night, and campaign 2, the Curse of Strahd campaign, will be running every Thursday, and that's New Zealand time zone. So looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. Again, all the VODs will be available on the YouTube. They will be uploaded. The game will play on Thursday. They'll be uploaded on Saturday. Like Sunday's game will be uploaded on Tuesday. So make sure you sub to the YouTube channel, !YT in the chat. We're 2 subs away from getting our custom URL. So hopefully with the second campaign up and running, with bringing in new communities, which Deathvale's, Twin Gats, and Mr. Malice's communities into the realm of D&D, we'll get some more subs out of that as well. So we're looking forward to that. No updates on our lockdown here in New Zealand. We're still we're into week 2 of potential 4 weeks. I haven't really looked at any more updates. So which should be pretty cool.
There's a lockdown here?
Yeah, apparently. And some of us don't have to go to work, unlike Baz, who has to go to work.
And there's a million people in the streets.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. Anywho, so that is pretty much where we're at there. So without any further ado, unless anyone else has something to say before we get started. Yeah, the new mod mode, guys. You have mods in the chat. You now have a mod view panel, which gives you a whole bunch of information, shows you everyone that's in the chat list, gives you the chat window, gives you things that happen in the chat. Just it makes things a little bit easier to navigate when it comes to banning and all that sort of. I mean, not that we have to really worry about that too much unless we get botted, of course. But even then, my recommendation now is if we get hit with a bot, guys, pick 1 or 2 names out of the lists, report them as being follow bots or view bots, and then we just carry on with the show. We don't really even acknowledge it. No point trying to ban them. Twitch will get round to that eventually, hopefully. No, that was auto host, Drax. That was me setting up the my bot to show all the auto hosts in the chat. Just because I want to feel loved, even though they're not actually really there. But it shows we've got like 12 other channels that are streaming our channel right now, which is really good. So, unless there are any more announcements from the players or anyone in the chat, we will get started. No worries, Gung Ho. We'll get started in tonight's episode. Last episode 31, which was our anniversary episode, in which Nutty Tart, aka Inari, aka the traitor Namaris, won the Doom Eternal game, who then in turn gifted it to me, which was really awesome. I haven't actually played it yet. It's installed, ready to go, but I will play it eventually. So we did get through that. Awesome show. You guys found yourselves in the egg chamber of the crypts beneath the bastion of the home of the vampire Eric the Awesome. A breathing came from a large tunnel to your left, and soon after the Karen Broodmother appeared, not happy about the intrusion. During the battle, Inari and Hep are both rendered paralyzed. Fiala summoned a dragonling ally. Sadiq is swallowed for a time, and then Coram, Lord of Valond, appears via a portal and drops the smaller Karen with a blight spell. Sadiq then dispatches the Broodmother with an almighty blow, severing her head. You then search and find the items in which you were sent here to find the Iron Flask and the Frostbrand Scimitar. You then return to Valon with Coram via the portal. He gives you information on the Black Fang, basically stating they are now out to get you guys. Alessandra specifically deeming her responsible for the deaths of the Valond chapter of the Fang, believing her to have betrayed their clan. You were also accosted by drow assassins / kidnappers at your time in the Bastion as well, also believed to be linked to the Fang. You then returned to the guild house, and with some personal tasks taken care of, Fiala granted Het and Alessandros a gift of being able to speak to a long past loved one. Information was gathered. You then, the following morning, a strange elven man joined you in the guild hall. He tells you that your efforts are futile. Your responses to his words seemed to anger him for a moment. His form shifted and shifted back, leading you guys to believe that this was indeed Kosis, the insane red dragon in humanoid form. You determine that the figure that bid him to take leave was also your former ally and friend, Neymaris. You took the following day
very nice.
to identify some of your new items, and during this time, Het and Fiala spoke. Fiala then revealed the beaver to Het. She's then tried to show her affection in the way that Sadiq had informed her to. Het then gently explained that she may have been deceived, and then angry Fiala entangled Sadiq to the guild hall floor for a moment before retiring for the evening. And this is where we pick the story up. You guys have retired for the night. You're all in your respective rooms, I would imagine, unless there was something you guys wanted to achieve before actually getting to sleep. But yeah, this is where we pick up. That evening, Sadiq, you've just... The entangling vines that Fiala had cast on you have rescinded. You were basically restrained for a minute. And... So you're the last one left up. Everyone else had sort of retired to their rooms. So what are you doing, team, before sleeping this evening?
Nah, I'm just gonna go to bed.
Same.
I thought I was with you there.
You'd all returned back to the guild hall.
I'd already chatted with Fiala, so I was off to my little bed.
It was also back in bed.
I think so too. I
Yeah,
think I was there.
You were all back in your respective rooms, shut down for the evening, and found rest and sleep. Can I get everyone to make a perception check for me, please? Active only. Thank you.
Active what?
Perceptive. Perception.
5.
5.
15.
15?
8.
8. Sadiq?
Perception check would be 19.
19. And Inari?
12.
12. Sadiq, during the course of the evening, you are stirred awake by sounds from down in the guild hall. They're not the usual sounds that you normally, when you guys have crashed here a number of times, and you sort of know what happens. There's different sounds you hear that it's not the typical sounds you hear from the guild hall. It almost sounded like a scuffle, or you hear muffled voices. Then after a few moments, nothing. You do not fully awake, but you are aware that something has happened during the evening. I mean, up to you if you want to fully wake. I mean, you've stirred and you're hearing it. Up to you whether you go investigate or not.
I'm gonna get up and go investigate.
Gonna get up and go investigate. You're just gonna wander down. You're gonna stealthily go down.
No, I'm just gonna wander down because my stealth's
Yeah, well, you would not be wearing armor. Just to reiterate to the party, you do not sleep in your armor unless you specifically state you do. If you do sleep in your armor, you run the risk of not getting a good night's sleep, therefore potentially gaining a level of exhaustion.
Sorry, can I be a real pain and just ask what happened there? Because I turned you right down, the music right up, and closed the stream all at the same time.
Well done. Well done.
Bravo!
that is skill.
Can we get a well done or a GG
All
in the
of
chat?
us
Can we get a
clapping.
GG in the chat for Nutty Tart? I mean that takes some skill. GG's for Nutty. Way to break the immersion of the moment.
I'm sorry.
You didn't hear it. You didn't hear anything anyway, so you don't know what happened.
Okay,
So you
that's
don't
good.
need to know what happened.
It worked out perfectly.
Yes.
So Sadiq, it is up to you again whether you choose to don your armor or just go over nosy without your armor on.
Gonna have nosy without.
Okay, so you're without armor. So just make note of that in case something happens. That you do not have armor, so your AC will be your base AC. You proceed sort of down the hallway and listening the whole time you're going, and you don't really hear anything. Things seems quiet now. You get to the top of the stairs, and do you proceed down the stairs, or are you just going to look from the top of the stairs?
Can I see anything from the top of the stairs?
From the top of the stairs, you can... I mean, the guild hall is not lit, because by at this late hour, you're looking around sort of 2, 3 in the morning. So it's dim light. It's not... There's a fireplace at one end, below you to your left, to the left of the stairs. It's still got wood in it on it. It's not burning brightly, but it's emanating a bit of a dim light across the room. So you can see it doesn't look like there's anyone there. It doesn't look like anything's happened. Nothing seems disturbed. The tables are all where they should be. The main doors are closed. Riffick's door is closed. You sort of look down to where Jeremy normally comes in and out of his little doorway there. That's closed as well. Nothing seems out of the ordinary from where you're standing.
I'm going to go back to bed then.
Okay. So you head back to your room. You don't really think much of it. You just it takes you a little while, but you get back to sleep without too many hassles. The morning breaks. You guys awake, and what are you doing?
Heading downstairs for some food.
Sounds good.
So everyone heading downstairs for some food. You're awake about the same time usually.
Yes.
You normally do sort of wake around the same time, head down, and when you get to the top of the stairs, the first thing you all notice that there is no food laid out on the tables. Normally Jeremy's pretty onto it, and normally breakfast is ready to go generally before you guys get there. Jeremy's not in the guild hall. No food out. The fire's still warm. It's still it's not blazing, but it's been kept stoked throughout the night.
Jeremy, hello? Jeremy!
After about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, you sort of hear you hear things sort of be moved around behind Jeremy's door, and the door opens, and a elven woman appears instead of Jeremy, who would normally see come from that room, and she sort of steps out. You really couldn't determine her age. She's looks to be full blood elf. To you guys, she looks to be in her sort of 20s to 30s, but she could be well into her hundreds. Long, dark auburn hair, obviously pointed elven ears, pale skin, pale eyes, dressed in sort of not expensive clothing, but not servant's clothing, sort of somewhere in between. A sort of common dress, but presentable. And she sort of turns to you as you're all sort of, I assume you've all sort of gathered in the main hall by now. And she turns to you guys and says, "Good morning. Jeremy has taken ill. My name is Ilian, and I'll be assisting while Jeremy recovers."
Do I believe her?
Roll for bullshit.
Roll an insight check. For those that don't believe her, roll an insight check.
3.
And Ari, you believe she's on the level? She seems legit.
12.
12?
It also gets 12.
12. You also believe she's legit. She seems honest. Anyone else wanting to roll insight?
22.
22? 22. Bloody druids.
We screwed the DM up again.
Not really. Check your DMs. Yeah. Look. Sadiq, did you want to make a inside check as well?
I'll be right back. And I got a 16. So
16?
Yeah.
You will get the same message that Fiona got.
I look at the elven woman and say, I know a lot of healing herbs. Can I actually see Jeremy and visit him?
I'm sure you can. I'm not entirely sure where he lives. I just work here. Is there anything I can get you this morning?
Just a light porridge and some meat, please.
Porridge and meat? Unusual request, but okay. And does anyone else have requests for breakfast?
Coffee.
So she
Can you
leaves.
just take raw meat, please?
She sort of looks at you and she looks at you all and sort of nods her head, clasping her hands in front, and she turns and goes through the door, and 15-20 minutes later she returns with a range of breakfast foods: oatmeal, mead, raw meats for you, het, coffee, bits and pieces, fruits. Can I get everyone to make another active perception check, please? No passives on this one.
7.
Nat 1.
Nat 1. Het, you smell that platter of raw fresh meat, and that is all you can think about right now. Is just food.
Was that investigation, was it?
Perception.
Nat 2024.
Woo, nat 20.
where's the nat 20s?
So we have one nat 20 and a nat 1. So everyone else's perception, Fiala and Ari.
I rolled an 8, but
8.
I'm gonna look at Allie and say I don't really trust this woman.
Alessandrus. Check your DMs. So what did you roll, Inari?
7.
7? Yeah, you don't really notice anything either. At this point, Alessandrus was the only one that noticed anything.
What's the distance between me and that door?
From where you guys would be sitting, I would say 5, 10, probably about 30 or 40 feet.
Dimly lit, roughly?
No, by this stage, the whole place is lit up like it would normally be in the first thing in the morning. The front doors, it's a nice day outside, so the front doors are open. Sun is streaming through, and there are many torches lit around the walls of the main hall.
Ask our kind person, was there an accident or something over there?
She's no longer in the room. When she presented your food, she left the room. So you guys now are in the room on your own, and what you saw as she closed the door.
Okay, guys. Not sure if you guys have picked it up, but there's some blood at the bottom of the base of the door that she came through. So, might be time to check some stuff out.
So, and as Alessandra says that, you guys all turn and now actually look specifically at the door, and as she pointed out, right at the base of the door, just on the corner, bottom left-hand corner of the door, you can barely see it, but there's a smudge of blood and it looks relatively fresh. It's not like fresh within the last sort of hour or so, probably within 3 or 4 hours, but it's definitely, it's not something that is usually there, obviously.
Damn it, she probably dropped my meat on the floor. I hope she used the 5-second rule.
Well, last night I was woken up by some scuffling going on down here, so I'm thinking there actually is something
No one
a
touched
little
the
bit
food.
strange.
Hit has already
broke
taken
half
2
my
bites
meat.
out of his.
And Alessandros, what did you say just there? Don't touch the food. And Hit, you said you've eaten.
Hit has already taken 2 bites, yes.
Who else has either drunk from their cups or eaten from their plates at this point?
I had a drink of my mead.
I actually didn't order anything, so I'm happy about that now.
Same here.
So it's only Hit and Ari that have eaten or drunk?
Yep.
Can I both get you to make a Constitution saving throw, please?
No,
That's funny, Drax.
I got 6.
You got 6. You feel
9.
fine. You both feel fine. Nothing happened. I just wanted to make you make the roll.
And something comes flying across the room.
No, you're fine. It tastes. The food tastes fine. It's not. The coffee definitely not the way Jeremy makes it. That's for sure.
So is the door open or closed?
It's closed.
Shall we? I look
The
at
only
Dane's-
doors that are open are your main doors out to the street.
I want to go and check through that door.
Is that the door she initially came out of at the beginning?
Yes. So who is investigating the door? I know, Nara, you want to get up and have a look at the door. Is anyone else going to get up with her, or are you going to let her check it out on her own?
I'm going to check it out as well.
I'll follow you.
Hit will move up to like the bar or something since Ali told him to stop eating.
Okay, so just to give you guys a layout of the room, just so you know exactly where you are, right at this point. We will go over to this view. So, we have, you guys were all seated around this table here. Table you generally always seem to sit at. So roughly, you'd be seated at that table. The door to your top right, I think you can see the bottom of it there. So this is your basic guild hall. The stairs to your top left, that is where your rooms are. You have 4 large tables. The circles that you can see at the front, at the bottom of the map, those are stairs leading up to the main doors. The door on the right-hand side is the door to Rifik's office. The TV that's on fire is the fireplace, which is not blazing, but it is it's still smouldering. It's still putting out a little bit of heat and light. Around the edges of the room, you can see the torches that are all lit as they are every day, and above you guys is also a wagon wheel type chandelier with lit candles, also making this room very, very brightly lit. It's a nice lit room. Around the walls are the usual things that you've always been here. You've got shields and cross swords. The above Rifik's door is the coat of arms for the guild, and things like that. All sort of typical what you'd see in an adventurer's guild. A few animal heads and things, which has always sort of upset Fiala, but she's gotten used to it. So, Anari, you are the first to move towards the door, so I'll put you over there.
Do I get to tell you what my investigation was, or we not got that far?
When I call for it, you can do that, if you like.
Damn it, I already rolled.
If you're not going to wait for the DM, then you can miss out on the good rolls. So, who else? It was Het and Sadiq moving with her as well.
Yes.
It would be.
So roughly,
near the
give me
edge
an
of the
idea where
fireplace.
you would be in relation to Inari.
Just beside her, I guess.
And it would be near the fireplace because I said I'd go to a bar or something nearby. Well, that would be the closest thing, I guess.
Yeah, it's sort of you can lean on the hearth or on the mantelpiece
No,
or something there.
It's too hot. I will just be.
It's not hot. It's sort of glowing. It's not burning brightly. It's.
It does not like fire. It will move.
So
it will be 5 feet
Alessandros,
away from the fire.
you're fine where you are. It's not hot. We know you don't like
Moving
it.
over to decking a table, basically straight across, so in line with the door.
So behind the table or in front of? The left or right of the table?
Next one over.
I would like to be next to Allie.
So and again reiterate what is up a bit so we can see that door. So that is roughly your positioning in the room. I say that's pretty much what it looks like. And
This is gonna hurt, isn't it?
then we'll go back to this one because nothing has happened. Nothing may happen.
It's gonna hurt
Oh,
bad.
I was gonna say,
So,
uh-oh.
what are you specifically doing at the door, Inari?
I was actually going to check it to see if it was locked and if I could go. I want to see where Jeremy is.
So you want to attempt to open the door?
Mhm.
You reach for the handle turns, but the door does not open.
Huh.
I'm gonna try.
You going to try and open it as well?
Yeah.
Same thing. The handle moves, turns, but the door will not budge.
Try pulling it. Just saying.
There seems to be a thing with you guys with doors. Yeah. So, did you try pulling or pushing it? To be more specific.
I try it in the direction that I've seen Jeremy use it.
And
that worked.
That is very well done, and it still does not open. It will not
Use
budge.
the old shoulder key, Sadiq.
I'm gonna knock on the door.
So Sadiq,
Very wise.
you knock on the door, and after a few minutes, nothing. 5 minutes, still no response.
I'm gonna go over to the headmaster's door and knock on that one.
Okay, so you move down to Rifik's door. As you go to knock on the door, what's your passive perception?
9.
9. Oh yeah, you probably wouldn't notice anything. I would say, even at this point, I'd probably use your passive investigation because by this stage you're alerted to something. So as you go to knock on Rifik's door, you go to reach down and grab the handle as well, I'd assume, to try and open it as you knock.
Yeah.
Again, the door does not budge, but just above the door handle, you notice again a smudge of blood that should not be there.
Guys, there's blood on this door too. I'm gonna try opening it.
Again, handle turns, but the door will not move.
Allie, you've got a lockpick kit in there?
Yeah, can you see anything magical?
Not currently, no. Oh, you mean you want me to cast a spell to see something magical?
You have a spell to see something magical?
Yes, I do. I cast Detect Magic.
What level is it? That's a cantrip, is it?
Just a first level spell.
First
that
level
one.
spell. Okay.
I don't want to take 10 minutes to cast it as a ritual, so yeah, just instant cast.
Okay. So you cast the detect magic spell, and for a brief moment you see arcane energy around both doors as you sort of glance around the room, and it sort of flicks and then it's gone. As you sort of scan the room, the whole room seems to just spark and flicker momentarily and then nothing.
So the magic is there, and then it is not. It is strange.
I wonder if we should
Kick the door in.
go and find coffee.
Terrible idea. Something is going wrong here. If there's blood on these doors, we must get to the bottom of it. Ellie, can you pick it open
use
or?
my foot and try to kick the door in.
Which door?
The headmaster's one.
Headmaster's door. So roll a strength check for me.
Hit will do the same to the other door.
Okay, both of you roll strength checks for me.
Dirty 20 for me.
Dirty 20.
Woo! Nat 20!
Dirty 20 and a natural 20. Sadiq, you take a step back and you force your foot into that door and you kick it as hard as you can. The door creaks under the strength of your big burly orcish legs. Still does not move, and you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you jar your knee quite severely. There is no way that door is opening. It is shut tight. There is something holding it shut. Hit. Pretty much the same thing. You crack on that door with your foot. The claws of your foot sort of scar the door as you kick down it. But again, you jar your knee and your hip, and you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage also. Those doors are not moving.
There's something really wrong with these people.
Can I get you all to make another perception check for me, please?
DM, detect magic is up for 10 minutes. Is it flickering on and off all the time, or is
It was just in that first sort of minute of when you cast it that you noticed that there was arcane energy there, and then it sort of disappeared and it hasn't come back since.
Okay, cool.
So perception, was it?
Perception, yes.
Nat 20.
Nat 20 for Alessandra. It's not a nat 20, guys. Let's get some nat 20s in the chat.
24.
24.
I got a nat 1, so I get 5.
So a natural 1 as well for Minari.
17.
17?
I'm standing next to Fiala, aren't I?
Yes, you are at the moment.
I pinch Fiala on the arm. You awake?
Why?
So,
Are you
did
sure
anyone
that's
else get
well?
over 20?
No.
Okay.
I got 9.
Okay, so Alessandros, again, you were the only one that notices. You sort of, as you're looking around, you watch Sadiq kick the door and nothing happens. Same thing with Het. He kicks that door. You sort of turn to Fiala and you punch Fiala and so are you awake? And she looks at you like kind of weird, strange, like, yeah, are you, kind of thing. And then you sort of turn and scan the room. And the one thing you notice is there's no sound coming from the street. Normally, this hour of the morning, the streets of Valand would be bustling with people, and the sound would be quite loud coming in through those open double doors. There is no sound whatsoever coming from the streets of Valand.
I relay that to the group.
I think we need to go and check outside.
I don't want to go outside.
I'm gonna limp outside.
So before you do anything, Alessandros, I dare say you are relaying this information to your compatriots.
Yes.
So who is going to be the first to head towards the main doors? I mean, Sadiq, you're probably the closest. You're
yeah,
at
I'll be
the
the closest.
yeah.
Actually, I'll probably be in line with with Yanti and Trash.
just in front of them.
Yeah,
probably
so,
10 feet in
yeah.
front of them. So yeah,
Hobbling along.
hobbling along.
Het will stay to the rear, about halfway through the room.
So
did
Sadiq
you-
is at the
did you-
main door. So who is going to follow Sadiq to the main door?
Yeah, I will.
I'm gonna stand and observe.
You're going to stay where you were.
Yeah.
Hit you and Ari going to stay at the rear of the room.
I'll be behind Ellie, behind Sadiq.
And
Only
Het will
two
come up.
below.
And Het will come up to the center of the room, sort of 10 or 15 feet away from Fiela.
It kind of puts you next to the table, next to her. So, right, just to give you guys, just so we know where you guys are. So we've roughly got front door there. So we've got Sadiq and Alessandros at the front door. And
Perfect.
roughly that's where the rest of you guys are.
Can I come back a little bit further into the room? Just in front of Het.
About 10 feet back. Cool. So, with that, so Alessandros and Sadiq, as you approach the main door, as you sort of step up those couple of steps towards the main door, the first thing you notice again is that silence. You sort of peer out the door and there is no one in the street. There is no breeze coming through the door. There is no sounds of birds. It's just deathly silent. What do you do?
So absolutely no one on the street.
You haven't crossed the threshold yet. Just this is what you see from the threshold of the door. There is no one on the street. There are no sounds, no bird sounds, no nothing.
There's something really wrong going on right now.
This,
And I'm saying that to everyone.
is this room possibly not real? I say to everyone.
Is there a way for us to find out if that's the truth? And I'm looking at Het going,
My detect magic is up, and I am seeing nothing.
Go to walk outside.
Before you do that, Alessandros, because your perception check before, again, with these inquiries that are being made, you start looking around the room again, and you start noticing little things that are out of place. The guild seal or guild coat of arms above Riffick's door is not quite right. It's a slight different shade of the I mean, you've got the Order of the Black Lion, so it's not black. It is onyx black like it should be. It's a slight grayer color. You notice that the swords don't look quite right. The fireplace also hasn't made a sound. It is burning, but there's been no crackling sounds from the embers. Het, you now, with what's been discussed, you now realise, sort of just thinking about it, that when you were standing next to that fireplace, it emanated no heat, which it should have, even with it as low as it was. You should have felt the heat from that fire, and you felt nothing.
I don't think we're in Kansas anymore, people.
Het and
Yes,
Anari.
Kansas.
Het and Anari, you also also sort of thinking about it. Het specifically, the meat didn't taste quite right either. It was fresh,
I knew it was on the floor, damn it.
but it was almost too fresh. The coffee was almost too perfect. You've all sort of... And Alessandros, you can relay this information to the rest of the group as you're sort of just looking around and discovering it. There's just these subtle differences that you've sort of overlooked. You guys walked through this hall dozens of times over the past 6 months, and you've now just sort of picked up on these tiny differences.
Can I try casting primeval awareness or use primeval awareness
To specifically do what?
to see if there's any fiends,
Speak
undead,
up.
elementals. To see if there's any celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead present within a mile of us.
Within a mile?
Mhm.
So is it a ritual cast or...
Just says one action.
Look here. Primeval awareness.
Some
Cost you a
effect
spell slot.
operates-
Yeah,
yeah,
cost,
it costs me a spell slot.
cost you a spell slot. So you get it for a minute if you want to use a single spell slot.
Yep.
So as you cast it, you, again, similar to what Het experienced, for a split second you believe that you sensed a fiend or possibly a fae. You're not 100% sure. It doesn't reveal their location or number, but then that feeling is gone almost in an instant.
It wonders if we are not in the upside down.
Did he wonder that out loud?
That is how it speaks, yes.
Het wonders everything
The
out
hell is
loud.
the upside down?
I look at him and like, pardon?
Like an alternate dimension, maybe.
Is there did you see a source hut of the magic that maybe I could cast a spell on?
It appeared momentarily and then disappeared. I have no real focus on exactly what it was, unfortunately.
And as you guys are discussing this, the door, Jeremy's door, opens. And the elven woman reappears, and as she does, closes the door behind her. And sort of, as you all turn to face her, she looks at you all and just politely says, is there anything else that you require?
What the hell's going on?
Going on? What do you mean?
I'd like to go
Well,
back to the real world.
I draw my
please.
bow.
You draw your bow?
Yeah, this place is not right.
As you draw your bow, Alessandros, you reach up, you grab it, and you go to pull an arrow and knock it, and your muscles lock up. And you are now paralyzed. Cannot move.
Awesome.
And
Can I talk?
You can talk, but you just cannot move.
Guys, I can't move.
And
Help.
she looks at you, and her whole facial expression changes, and this smile comes across her face, and she says, "There'll be none of that. I am to keep you here for some time. You must behave." What are you guys going to do?
I'm gonna cast a spell on her.
You can cast a spell on her?
I'm gonna try.
At what level?
Let's go as high as I can. Fourth.
4th level dispel magic on her?
Yeah.
Ooh, let's have a look at this. Dispel magic.
Not liking this.
I've never used it.
I've used it a few times, but let's have a quick read to make sure we are aware of what we're doing here. So,
Yeah, I want to know if I'm doing it correctly.
so DC passing at 3rd level or lower. Okay, so 4th level or higher, the target makes an ability check using the spellcasting ability. Okay, so DC 10 plus the spell's level. So you're doing it at 4th level?
Yes.
With that, Fiala, you raise your hand towards her, and as she goes to speak, you get the spell off, and in an instant, the room changes. You watch as the room darkens slightly. Still well lit, but dark, just not as bright as it was just unnaturally a moment ago. The room spins and changes. Her form changes as well. And what you see before you, ladies and gentlemen, is that lady there. Her whole form shifts. She's wearing a red and black bodice gauntlets, spiked gauntlets, also in onyx black and red. Red and black hair with a horned crown, red tattoos across her face, and burning red eyes.
Well, hello.
She turns, again, her grin has not changed. The way her look has just changed, but her expression has not. It's almost as if she expected this to happen. The rest of the room, you now see that Jeremy's door was not only smudged with blood, but is now covered. Blood spray from floor to ceiling. Riffick's door the same, all up the wall, blood spray from floor to ceiling. Next to the door is the body of your headmaster. Gutted, entrails lying on the floor. Next to the fireplace where you once previously stood, Het, is the body of your home servant, your guild servant, Jeremy, propped up against the wall, throat cut, bled out and dead. What are you guys going to do? She is not attacked. She's not done anything. She's just smiling and
Is Ellie
waiting.
still paralyzed?
Alessandra is still paralyzed at this point.
Who are you?
My master sends his regards. My name is Ilyan, like I said before.
Who's your master?
I believe you were acquainted with him recently, as it happens. He did warn you there would be consequences. And with that, we're going to roll initiative as... one moment. Back over to this map. She raises her hand, and in this corner of the room, a portal opens, and stepping through it is a large, boned creature with a long whipping bony tail, bony wings, flesh clinging to those bones, bloodless, but not dripping. The flesh is old but new at the same time, but it is more bone than it is flesh. And it sort of walks through the portal, and you hear that bone sort of clicking on the sort of stonework floor as it sort of steps in, and it just stops in the corner there, waiting for almost like waiting for an instruction. Also, from the back of the room, from the fireplace, he fell over, and lady friend is standing there. So from the back of the room, we have 3 burning skeletons step out of the fireplace, again through another portal that it seems to have appeared. And with that, we roll initiative, ladies and gents. So, Alessandros, your initiative, please.
6.
Remove my notes. 6 for you. Hit.
13.
13. Fiela.
Also 6.
6. Alessandros, you will go before Fiela. You got a higher dexterity. Inari.
17.
17. And Sadiq.
I agree with that, Drax.
17 as well.
Yeah.
So we have who has the higher dexterity? I would have.
Plus 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
From 14 dexterity. So
Okay.
Plus 2.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you Alessandros, as these creatures appear, your paralysis breaks. You are able to move. Anari, you get first attack at the top of the round.
Ooh. I'm gonna go for that thing in the corner by the door.
The thing in the corner by the door. So you're going to attack the woman. Go ahead.
I am going to cast Hunter's Mark as a bonus action.
She is going to be Hunter's Marked.
And I will fire first one with Sharpshooter.
Yep.
Great, that one.
Natural
That's
1.
6.
So that, your first shot, just with what's happened, with the unveiling of the guild headmaster, I mean, these are people you don't know well, but still it is a pretty horrific sight having all this sort of happen right in front of you, and you fire your first arrow and it misses completely, striking the door behind her. Your second shot.
I'll try that again with Sharpshooter.
Fire away.
I try with a 14.
14 also misses.
Third one I'm going to...
As you fire, the arrow appears to fire true, but strikes a seeming invisible barrier and deflects.
Okay, well then I'm going to go without Sharpshooter for the last one.
Okay.
And 13 doesn't hit.
13 does not hit. So 3 shots, 3 misses, as first one misses completely, strikes the door. The second 2 seem to find their target, but are deflected by some form of magical barrier. With that, let's just double check something here. Nope, that's all good. Next up is Sadiq.
I'm gonna activate Rite of Dawn.
Rite of Dawn, no
go
problem.
and start wailing on the guy in the corner.
Okay, so your amulet is lit up like a bloody Christmas tree, just so you know. The moment everything changed, your amulet lit up.
Yeah, I had a feeling that everything went green.
You're rocking right into combat there with the giant bone creature that has stepped forth. Roll your attack, sir.
So first attack is 18.
That misses. You strike out, and he lifts an arm and just deflects it with his bony arm.
Second strike is a nat 20, so 25.
That does hit, indeed. Roll your damage. Nat 20, guys.
Because it's that. That would be a 42 points of damage.
42 points of damage. Massive amount of damage as you strike out with your second strike, putting everything you can into it. And again, the creature brings its arm up, and you feel that blow. You hear the bone crack. Doesn't take as much damage as you hoped, but he definitely took some damage. Bonus action movement. Well, you've used half your movement to get there. Bonus action.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit there and wait.
Sit there, no worries. Next up, the blazing skeletons that have been given their orders, and they all charge forward. two of them charging into you hit. And they will make... Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Oh crap, hit the camera. My bad.
Earthquake.
So it's going to make... The two of them are going to make an attack each. One a natural 20, the other is a 13. Against you hit.
Both hit.
They both hit, so we'll resolve natural 20 first, which will be a 14 points of fire damage. And we'll make it 21 points of fire damage total.
Okay, that is a lot of damage.
Yes, so 21 points of fire damage on hit, and you guys see as the skeletons, the burning skeletons, reach out and slam hit with their hands, and hit cries out in absolute pain as he takes an enormous amount of damage.
And hit also has a reaction.
He does.
He traces a sigil in the air and he says, Lucretia, and he casts at 4th level Arctic Rebuke.
No problem. Dex save on that.
Correct, dex save.
One saves with a 23 and one is a 14.
That is 26 total damage. Halved for the one that saved.
For the one that saves, so 26 damage. So that'll be 13 on that one and that one. Ooh.
Dex 15 for the save, so.
Yep. So one, actually, let's have a look at here. So that's ice damage, isn't it?
Correct, that is cold damage.
Cold damage. Yeah, so one of them sort of and sort of his fire dims for a moment and burns back brighter as it leans back into the other one's fire is almost completely out. It's almost looking like a sheepish dog, sort of looking down and almost whimpering, not looking healthy at all. The other one will strike out at you, Anari, with a 16.
Misses.
16 misses?
Yep.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'm class of 17.
Oh shit, there's two. Holy crap. I thought it was 16. My bad. So 16 misses. That's cool. So that one reaches out and you just sort of dodge its hand as it tries to attack you. Next up is the bone guy. So Sadiq, you attacked him. He's going to attack you back. He makes 3 attacks. 2 claw attacks first. One is a dirty 20, the other is a 26. So you will take 16 points of slashing damage. And then he makes 1 attack with his tail, which also hits with a 23. So you'll take additional 13 points of piercing damage plus 17 points of poison damage. I'll need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Uh, 22.
You save. You feel the poison from the barbed tip of the bone guy's tail. So it starts to take effect, and then you manage to shrug it off. Your orcish constitution, no match for such a weakened poison. With that is all that creature is going to do. Hit, you're up. The elven lady after that.
Hit is going to, after he's done that rebuke, he grasps his sign of the Steel Lady and he says, "Oh, Steel Lady, aid us." And he casts Bless on everyone at 3rd level so that all the team gets Bless. That's the D4 to your attacks and saving throws, team.
You are also concentrating.
It is now concentrating.
Elishandra's hiding behind the door there.
Yep.
Hit, is that it for you?
As a bonus action, I can't remember. As a bonus action, I can take a potion, or can I get one out?
You can, you would have one on you. You generally have one on your belt ready to go, so I'd give you first one as a bonus action.
Excellent. Hit will take the grate that he has on his belt that we purchased just the day before.
No problem.
And that is all for Hit.
That is all for Hit. Next up is the Red Witch. She is going to cast a spell. You guys watch as she raises her hands and utters a few arcane words, and then just throws her hands out in front of her, and a ripple of energy shoots out, engulfing the entire room. You need to all make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh, 14.
14.
16.
16 for Hit.
What we got here? So it's charisma. So anyone over 15 saves for half damage.
I got 23, so yeah.
Okay, so we've got 34 points of damage for those that didn't save, and 17 for those that did. And it's necrotic damage.
Ouch.
And with that, she is...
What does it mean if you got a resistance to necrotic damage?
It's halved. So if you saved, you'll take half of half. Rounded down. So it'll be 17... 8 damage. So with that, does it stay there?
And those who need to use the extra D4 for your save.
Yes, don't forget you have your bless so to add to that save, so you can add that for half damage if you wish.
Already did.
Awesome. So with that, as a bonus action, she casts
Hit will
Hex.
have to roll for concentration too.
Yes, she will, and you're also hit. You're also now hexed.
But with a 17, Hit holds concentration.
You do hold concentration, but you now feel a dark aura engulf your mind. It doesn't really have much of an effect at this stage, but you definitely feel that something is not right.
Sweet.
With that, Alessandros, it is your turn. Fiala, you're up after that.
I was thinking I still got my bow out.
You do.
Yeah, I'll take a shot at the witch.
Take a shot at the witch, no worries. Fire away, good sir. Madam Shim.
$25.
That indeed hits. Roll your damage.
8.
8 points of piercing damage as you strike the witch in the upper shoulder, and she sort of takes it and she glares back at you, eyes burning red, and just laughs at you as if she didn't take any damage at all. You don't have a bonus action with that. We have a bonus action, but you can't attack because it's a bow. It takes 2 hands. You still do have movement, however.
I'll stay where I am.
Stay where you are. Fiela, you are up.
I'm going to cast Healing Spirit 3rd level, which is the Fey Stag, kind of on top of Het.
No problem.
And he will get 9 points of healing, and then he gets to roll 2d6 on his turn for healing every turn.
Put it on the
Hitch is
table.
grateful. Thank
Put it on
you.
the table there, but
Table dancing deer.
yep, a arcane white moonbeam white face stag appears on the table next to you, Hit, and partially engulfing you, and you're receiving those heals. Actually, let's have a look at something. Nope, she can't do anything about that.
You will have to repaint your deer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to repaint it white.
Get a white one.
That won't be too hard to do. I can definitely do that.
Or make a coin that's got a white deer on it so you can put it underneath the person.
We could do that too. It wouldn't be too hard to make that, actually.
Bonus action, I'm going to wild shape into a rhinoceros.
I don't have a rhinoceros.
Oh, dang it!
It's alright, I can mark it with something.
How about
No,
a boa constrictor?
Hey, if you want to be a rhino, you can be a
Yep,
rhino.
rhino.
If you can, as long as you got the stats, I'll mark it with a bear.
A beer.
I'd like to have a bear.
So, Yayla transforms her shape into a rhinoceros, and that looks suspiciously like a bear. Okay?
And that's my turn.
And that's your turn. The witch sort of looking at this nods and with a bit of respect as you shapeshift. With that, we're back to the top of the round, and Nari with Sadiq to follow.
Right. I'm going to try again.
You're going to try and shoot the witch again. From
Yep.
where you're standing, you've got a whole bunch of people standing in front of you. You would probably have to move to get line of sight.
Okay, I will move into line of sight.
You will take attack of opportunity from the blazing skeleton that is in melee base to base with you.
Come at me, bitch.
You're gonna move.
I will move to the other side of the table. I'll leap over the table.
Leap over the table.
Yep.
Okay, so first things first, does it resolve the opportunity attack, which I believe hits you with a 19.
Yes, it does.
You will take. First off, you'll take 3 points of fire damage just for being 5 feet of him when you started your turn. And you'll also take another 7 points of fire damage, so a total of 10 points of fire damage. I'll also need you to make a acrobatics check to see how gracefully you leap over that table. Parkour!
Dirty 20.
And yeah, this ranger skills up 1 foot onto the edge of the table and flips over the table, lands almost half Superman landing, but not ready, but bow ready to fire, and your first shot.
Right, we'll try this again. With sharpshooter.
With sharpshooter. So -5 to your attack. Can't hear you.
Is 13.
13 misses.
the
Again,
second one?
deflects off that invisible barrier. Your second shot with sharpshooter.
Take without sharpshooter.
Without sharpshooter. Okie dokie.
Should have taken it with sharpshooter. 27 to hit.
27 to hit. It does hit, so you roll your damage. And you'll get your hunter's mark on this one.
So that's 8 damage.
8 damage, and your hunter's mark.
8 and 5 is 13 damage, sorry. And 4 for Hunter's Mark.
That's 17. 17 total damage. As you fire that arrow, it manages to break through whatever that seemingly invisible armor she has up and strikes her just above the hip on the left-hand side, and she winces, sort of grabs the arrow and just breaks the end of it off and throws it on the ground and readies herself for her next action. You have, I would say, still 10 feet of movement.
I am.
And how long does your hunter's mark, does it persist? Doesn't it? I think it does.
Mark until
Till the spell ends, yeah.
Yeah, concentration up to an hour. Do I need to roll for concentration?
Yes, you will. You've taken damage, so it'll be, you need to roll 10 or higher.
Fuck. 2.
Your
Hunter's
hunter's
mark
mark drops. With that damage, you tried to concentrate on the spell, but you just couldn't quite do it. Is that your turn?
That will be my.
Because those are your attacks. You've got a bonus action still.
Ooh.
And 10 feet of movement. Quickly, 6 seconds.
No, it's fine. I'll just stay where I am.
Sadiq, you're up.
Gonna swing at the one in front.
You take another swing at the giant bone creature.
24.
That hits.
21 damage.
21 damage. Can you list what type of damage that is, please?
It's radiant.
All radiant damage?
All radiant.
Your sword doesn't do radiant damage though. What's sword slashing? How much slashing damage from your sword?
The slashing damage would be 10 points.
10. And so so it was what, 21 total?
Yeah, 21 total.
So
10 points slash.
That much radiant damage. Cool. Second attack.
Second attack's 21.
That does hit.
Rolling for damage.
Yeah, so give me your slashing and your radiant separate for this guy.
Okay, so it's 29 points of damage all up, and the slashing is 14.
14. So 13 radiant. And both your attacks strike out. You hit it across the bony hip, and you sort of take a big chunk off the hip with one attack. The next attack sort of catches in its ribs and breaks a rib. Doesn't seem to phase it too much, but he's sort of gnashing its teeth at you, and all the bones are sort of creaking and moving. Dare say you're going to stay there, as most likely you generally do.
Stay there. I'm going to pop one of my pills.
Pop one of your pills as a bonus action. No worries.
Yeah, that's it.
You do that. Burning Skeleton's turn. Again, hit. 2 of them on you. Striking out at you. One will hit you with a... when I bring up the right stats, one will hit you with a 21, and one is a 12.
That hits. A 12 misses, but the 21 hits.
21 does hit, so you will take 7 points of fire damage. And you'll also take, actually you'll take 10 points total because you're, no, 13 points, sorry, because you're within 5 feet of both of those guys. So 13 points of fire damage total.
Head will trace the sigil and say, Lucretia again, and Arctic Rebuke.
Another Arctic Rebuke. At what level?
And that'll be its second level.
Second level. Dex saves for those. One fails, one succeeds.
That is 16 damage.
And with that hit, both of those creatures take the full blast One was at 1 hit point, so he takes it anyway. So both of them take the full blast of your Arctic Rebuke, both reducing them to 0 hit points. But, unfortunately for you, Het, as these creatures die, you need to make 2 dexterity saving throws for me, please.
Just so you're aware, Arctic Rebuke normally only targets the one that hit. But yes, I can make the save.
That's I only have 1 HP, so it'll get them both in this instance.
Yes. What type of save, sorry?
Dex save. Times 2, please.
They're his favourite saves.
The first one is 12. The second one was a nat 1, which makes it a nat 1.
So you fail on both saves, so you will take an additional 10 points of fire damage as both of those skeletons explode, sending fiery bones out in a
Het is
10-foot
now
radius.
on the ground, and the concentration is lost, which means Bless is down.
Bless is down and the hex is moved. You, Fiala, you feel a very uncomfortable feeling wash over you. Next up is that burning skeleton.
Question, DM.
Yes.
In the deer's circle, do I take the healing from the deer at the start of my turn or at the end of my turn?
Fiala?
Or Fiala's turn?
Start.
At the start of the turn?
Yeah.
So is that's healing spirit, isn't it?
Healing spirit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was a 3rd level spell, so 2d6.
So you can call for a space at range. Spirit looks like transparent bay face until the spell ends. Whenever you or a creature can see moves into the spirit's space for the first time on a turn or starts its turn, then yeah. So start your turn, you get 2d6. So you'll get 2d6 heals.
That's okay, it would have still been dead. So,
Okay.
Unconscious. Het is still unconscious.
Het is still unconscious. So Het drops.
Wait a minute. I was just thinking about that. Does that mean he auto stabilizes because he's
No, he would have taken the heal before he took the damage, unfortunately. And the
No,
damage.
But
round,
next turn,
so-
the heal
Next,
will
the,
count, I suppose, yes.
the next turn, if he's still in it, the heal will bring him back to positive hit points, and he'll be conscious.
Nice.
So that's actually pretty good. That's a pretty good spell.
Well
that.
thought out.
Unless Fiona dies between now and then.
Challenge
Please
accepted.
No!
So with that, the burning skeleton will chase you because it's not that intelligent, so it's just going to chase the one that got away, and we'll strike out at you and Ari with. Actually, no, it's not. First, I'll stay where it is. God damn it!
Okay.
And it's going to attack you from there.
Oh, fine. Fine.
Which hits with a 19. And you will take 11 points of fire damage as holds its hand out and fires a small fireball in your direction, engulfing your chest in flames and singeing your hair, and you take 11 points of fire damage. Next up is the bone dude's turn. Sadiq, you're pretty much it. So 3 attacks for you, sir. First, the claw attacks. 1 fails with a natural 2. And the other one's a dirty 20, so you will take 8 points of slashing damage from that. Now the sting attack should be a 23 to hit, so you'll take a further 13 points of piercing damage and 17 points of poison damage, and you'll need to make another con save for me, please.
Uh, 16.
That is another success. You are still not poisoned. You seem to overcome that constitution. Orcus constitution just shrugs off that poison every time you take damage from it. But you do take the other damage. Hit. It is now your turn. So you, instead of making a death save, you will receive 2d6 of healing. Fiala, can you roll those, please?
Be a 7.
7 points of healing brings you back to consciousness. You are still prone. Bliss is gone.
Okay.
You guys.
Okay, Hit is going to use his movement to stand.
And
Hit is looking around the battlefield and notices Sadiq is looking worse for wear. And he uses
I
his
didn't burp,
last
lady.
3rd level slot for... Oh shit, I don't know. This is a tough choice. Yes, he says, Steel Lady, aid thy companions, and uses his last 3rd level slot to heal Sadiq.
Okay, roll your heal.
Sorry, Sadiq, I have a bad feeling this is going to be low. This is a bonus action healing word, by the way.
Yep.
That is 13 healing points for Sadiq.
13 healing points for Sadiq. Take your heals.
And as his action, Hit uses the burning skeleton that is just away from him there. Hit uses... man, what does Hit use? He was unconscious, had no time to think. Hit uses Frostbite. He aims his loot forward and says, "May a cold death be upon thee." And he casts Frostbite at the skeleton in front of him that needs to make a Constitution save.
Rolls a natural 17 plus 1, so that'll be 18.
Okay, the Frostbite does not hit.
Okay, the flames from the burning skeleton just burning too brightly and too hot. This creature's not taking any damage and just negates the cold damage you send his way. With that, if that is your turn, Hit,
That is all for Hit.
the witch cackles and laughs. Foolish, foolish. You will not win this day. And she then casts... a spell towards you, Hit. You need to make a wisdom saving throw for me.
21. These are my good ones.
And with that, you feel this sort of prod at the back of your mind, and you shrug it off, and you sort of turn and look, and you see the witch is holding her hand out towards you and grinning, and then the grin turns to a grimace as she realizes the spell has failed. But with her bonus action, she's going to then fire at you, Hit, with a 15 and a 14, and one will miss. She fires towards you 2 dark green bolts of energy. Both strike you in the chest. And you take 14 points of force damage as she strikes you with Eldritch Blast.
Hit takes the strikes, smiles slightly, and hits the dick.
And Hit once again is unconscious. How long does that Fade Deer stay up, Anari? It stays up for quite a while, doesn't it?
Not me.
Not Anari.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Yeah, no.
Well, I don't have it equipped, but I think it lasts for... I can look it up real quick.
Hang on. Give me a sec. Guardian of Nature. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Or is that it? Yes. Nope. Healing Spirit. Last up to a minute. Concentration for a minute. So when you take damage, you'll have to make concentration check. That's all. Good. So that will be her turn. She's going to stay where she is. Alessandra, you are up. Fiala, you're up after that.
taking aim at the witch.
Fire away.
$18.
That does hit. Roll your damage.
And also,
Also.
hang on.
Math.
No, not math. So with that, from what I've just read, you decide to use the option when the arrow hits a creature. So I'm using one of the arcane shots.
Yep.
Shadow arrow.
Okay. What does it do?
Okay, so the bow damage itself is 4.
Okay,
Plus
using Shadow
3.
Arrow. Okay, so just one
Plus
creature.
3 psychic damage.
Gonna make a dex save.
And a wisdom save of 13.
Oh, hang on. So 2d6 psychic damage, wisdom save. Okay. I believe she saved. She rolled a natural 16 on the save. And her wisdom is -1, so it's 15. So I do say she saves, so she only gets half that damage.
No, she gets all that damage. The
okay.
wisdom save.
Okay, I see. Yeah, blinds them basically. So she takes 2d6 psychic damage plus the arrow damage. What was the arrow damage?
4.
So roll your 2d6 psychic.
3.
3. So she'll take 1 psychic damage as you realize that she just, for some reason, shrugged it off. Didn't even look like it hurt her at all. Bonus action. Movement.
Yeah, I'm staying.
No movement, no bonus action. Fiala, you're up.
I'm gonna look over at Het, then I'm gonna paw at the ground, aim my horn at her belly, and charge this witch.
Okay. You charge at her.
And that's a nat 20.
Natural 20, roll your damage.
Gonna hurt.
Nice.
So it's double, right?
Double. It'll be whatever the damage would be normally. You maximize damage, then roll the dice again. So essentially, you're still rolling for damage, but you maximize the first lot of dice. So if we find your Rhinoceros here, we'll have a look at.
27.
So charge. So it takes 2d8, so it'll be 16 plus whatever you roll. So 27.
Yeah, 27 and
my
strength save.
Which I believe she just failed. Oh no, she's +3 strength. So 15 on the strength save.
So she passes.
She passes, so she does not fall prone, but she takes 27 points of piercing damage. Was it bludgeoning?
Bludgeoning.
And it rocks her. She is not happy, but you will need to now make a dexterity saving throw, Fiala, as she reacts to the damage she's just taken.
That would be an 18.
Ooh, and you pass, so you will take half this damage, because she hellish rebuked you at like 5th level. So.
Ow!
1, 24, so 12 points of fire damage you will take as she hellish rebukes you in return for your charge at her. She's not looking too healthy though. She's now looking a little rocky on her feet with that giant rhinoceros charging in back to the top of the round. Inari.
Right. I am going.
You'll have to make a concentration saving throw for me though.
Concentration?
No, not you. Fiala, to see if you hold up the animal spirit. So you need to roll a 10 or higher on a d20.
That's a 5. So
5,
now.
so...
Also, as a bonus action, I want to shift out a wild shape.
Okay. Now turns from Fiala Bear to regular Fiala. I've also got to make a concentration saving throw for Hex. And she fails. Actually, no, I don't. Hex doesn't have that. Let's see. Nope, it's not concentration. I lie. Nari, your turn. Sorry.
I, as a bonus action, am going to cast Hail of
Hail of Thorns on yourself. No worries. So, Hail of Thorns is now cast.
Hail with Sharpshooter. I'm going to try and hit this witch again.
Okay. Fire away.
19 to hit.
That does hit. Roll your damage with your plus 10. This is not going to be good for the witch. Come on, math isn't that hard, people.
You sure about that?
I'm positive.
So 17 for that damage. and
Roll
then
your Hail of Thorns.
2d10 because it's a second level.
You got to tell me that before you cast it.
I'm pretty sure I said I was casting at second level.
No, you didn't. But I'll let you get away with it this time. Make sure you let me know what level you're casting your spells.
Needs to make a dex throw and takes 18.
She fails, and explain how your arrow ends the life of this red witch.
Thorns come out of the ground.
No, they don't.
Nope, thorns come out of the sky at it and just go through her face and her head.
You got no imagination. Come on.
She just goes,
Come on.
I've got plenty of imagination, just not.
Imaginate. So the arrow strikes the red witch right in the throat, just above the bone, that collarbone, where the collarbones join. Blood pools up in the well of the throat and starts to run down her neck, and then as she sort of goes to reach up and pull that arrow out, goes to grin again, and then looks up as this green portal opens up and the Hail of Thorns strikes down, filling her eyes, her face, and her upper torso with sharpened green thorns. Gurgling and spluttering, she falls prone on the ground, dead.
Okay, so that means for my second shot,
You do have a second shot.
I'm going to aim at the thing that's attacking City
Okay, fire away.
with Sharpshooter.
With sharpshooter, no problem.
That makes 21 to hit.
That does hit.
13. Hang on, sorry. 13. 21.
21 points of piercing damage.
26, sorry.
How do you get 26 from a d8?
1d8 plus 5. 3 and 5 is 8.
Yeah,
Plus 10.
so that's 18.
18. There you go. 18. Damn it.
Okay, math is hard for some people.
I added an extra 8. Shut up.
I know you did. That's why I questioned it. You fire your arrow and it strikes the bone of this creature. Again, you know it's definitely found purchase. You know you've put the weight behind it, but it does not seem to do the damage that you hoped. Your movement, please.
I'm going to move sideways to the next table.
Done. So, next up is Sadiq.
Awesome. Alright. So we'll go with the first one, which is 17 to hit.
That misses. Reaches up and parries with one of his bony arms.
That's okay, because the second one was a natural 20.
Natural
so-
20. Roll your damage. Give me the slashing piercing damage first before the radiant.
Alright. Well, the slashing will be. I know it's 14. So it's 25 of slash.
25 slashing. And your radiant damage.
And 14 radiant.
14 points of radiant damage. The radiant damage sparks out at the creature and it winces in pain, but the slashing damage doesn't seem to bother it too much. Your second attack.
Oh, that was the second.
Oh, that was your second attack?
Was
Oh, that's right. Natural crit. That's right. It was crit. So, that's cool. Movement, bonus action.
No.
No.
Nothing. I'm just going to wait for it to kill me.
So, with that, the Blazing Skeleton's next turn. And it is just going to turn on hit. And strike down at hit. With closest thing to it, unfortunately. No intelligence. This is going to keep wailing on whatever's in front of it. Hit. Where are we? Rolls a natural 1. How lucky are you? Misses with its fiery touch.
Totally fine.
So that is the that's the turn of the Blazing Skeleton. Next up is the Bone Devil, who again will strike out at Sadiq. 3 attacks. First 2 of the claws. One is a 22, the other is a 16.
One hit.
One hits. You will take 8 points of the slashing damage. Tail attack with a 24.
That's a hit.
So another 13 points of piercing damage and 17 points of poison damage and a con save, please.
It does make a difference. I went down. Con save is a 15.
You save again. You down, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So Sadiq drops unconscious, but you don't take the poison condition, so you are okay there. But Sadiq is now rendered unconscious. Next up, that is its turn. It's not going to move. It's going to stay where it is. Where is it? What's its intelligence? Oh, he's fairly intelligent. No, he's going to stay there. Hit, death save. I will make a death save for you, my friend.
Okie dokie.
I will mark that down in my book. Put Sadiq down on my list as well. Blood Witch would be next, but she is dead. Alessandros, you are up. Fiala, you're on board after that.
Taking a shot at the big wing-looking bony creature, whatever.
At the dude. We'll bring you into focus here a little bit. So you are that within 15 feet away, so you can fire it with your arrow or you can run into melee, up to you.
I'm firing it with the arrow after seeing what happened to Sadiq. Yeah, have a go on there. 20.
That does hit.
And yeah, shadow shot. as well.
No worries.
And that's 4 with the arrow.
And the
6 psychic.
6 psychic.
And a 13 and a wisdom saving throw.
6 psychic damage and a wisdom save. This is its favourite saves. 14 is the save.
Passes.
So it passes the... what would happen if it failed the wisdom?
Cannot see anything.
It's
further
blinded,
than
that's
5
right.
foot.
Okay. So it manages to pass the condition. Your bonus action and your movement, if you wish.
I'm moving back towards the wall near Inara.
Yeah, full movement or just to Anari?
Yeah, full movement.
Put you right back on the wall. Fiela, you are up.
I'm gonna jump on the table next to Het. I'm gonna gift of Ashari him for 10 points of healing.
You are now conscious.
Then
Lying
I'm gonna
prone.
aim my healing spirit on, so bring out Jadir for Sadiq. And he gets 6.
So Sadiq, you are now conscious at the base of the bone demon, and an ethereal deer is standing over you.
Well, that's it for me.
That's it for you. Back to the top of the round, Anari.
I am going to look at that skeleton that's attacked here,
Sure thing.
and I'm going to sharpshooter it.
Sharpshooter it.
Oh, natural 19 plus 5, 24 to hit.
I think that hits.
It's 11 damage.
11 piercing damage. Your second attack.
Oh, hang on. No, sorry, 21.
How do you get 21?
Because I did
Oh,
sharpshoot.
Ed 10, that's right. I say, no, 11, that's it, I'm taking it. Done.
21.
Too late, you missed it. Right.
I haven't shot again yet.
And your second shot. Bloody rangers.
I'm going to go for it again.
Sharpshooter again, go for it.
Yep. And that is 19 to hit.
That hits.
Same damage, 21 again.
21 again. As you fire your second arrow, striking it in the base of the skull, and severs its head. It pops the head right off the spinal column. It drops to the ground. You're still prone, aren't you, Het?
Correct.
So you automatically fail a dex save because you are prone. So you will take 5 points of fire damage for you, which will be doubled to 10 because of your vulnerability. Does that render you unconscious once again?
Het is unconscious. Does your exhaustion stack?
No. Just it's a single exhaustion for becoming unconscious. If it's stacked, you'd be in big trouble.
That's okay. You have a longer wait period in your game than mine.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess it
yeah.
evens out.
So Het is unconscious once again as the skeleton dies and renders. Actually, Biela, you'll need to make a dex save as well, please.
11.
You will take also 5 points of fire damage as the skeleton explodes in a hail of flaming bones, scattering both of you with fire damage. But it is dead nonetheless. Is that your turn, Anari? Are you done?
Yep. That's about all I can do at the moment.
And with that, Sadiq, You are
Right,
conscious.
first, I'm going to do all the healing that I'm getting right now.
So do you want to stand up first, or you can do it from prone?
Oh, I'm going to do the healing from prone so
Okay.
I know how many hit points I've got when I get up.
Okay. So you'll get 2d6 from Fiala firstly. So Fiala, roll that.
10.
So you get 10 points of 10 HP from the deer, and and roll your heals for your pill for this round.
That was my last one. 2. 10 points. Oh, wait a minute. I've got to read something quickly.
So I believe your pills. It's 1d4 plus con each round.
Yeah, no, that's not what I was reading. I was reading about my crimson right, and it looks
Okay.
like I have to recast.
Yes, you would. If you've dropped unconscious, it drops off.
So there you go. Recast that. Take the damage from that. God damn it. And now take a swing at this.
Roger
thing in
that.
front of me.
Take your swing, half your movement to get back up.
21 to hit.
That does hit. Roll your damage.
Oh god damn! I keep on forgetting to roll that extra damage. Alright, so it's 11 points slashing
11 slashing.
and 12 points.
12 points radiant. No worries. Your second attack. You strike out again across the legs, and looks like you've almost severed one leg. It's starting to look a bit shaky.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20 does hit.
So it's 14 slashing and 14 on the radiant as well.
14 on the radiant. You slash out across the rib cage, and you break several of his ribs. And this creature's not looking healthy at all at this stage. He's really struggling now. But with that being your turn, it is now his turn, and he strikes back out at you with his 2 attacks with the claws. One hits, one does not, with his tail, which does not hit. So you take 8 points of slashing damage only in that round. You were lucky.
Christ.
It does not want to move. It is going to stay where it is. And it's looking unhealthy, really unhealthy. Hit, you are up with Alessandros after that.
You need to make a save for hit.
That's right, you're unconscious. Ooh, nice. Next, Alessandros.
All right. I'm going to take a shot
Take a shot
with the bow.
with the bow.
$21.
That hits. And your damage.
9.
9 points of damage. Describe the trajectory of your arrow as you destroy
Right
this
through
entity.
the eye socket.
So, Alessandros, you've been watching an area as you draw back on your bow, full lock. You steady your aim, you release. The arrow strikes true, finding the eye socket of this creature, and the force of the arrow removes its head and pins it to the wall behind it.
Yes.
And the creature just drops at Sadiq's feet, unmoving and dead. And we are now out of initiative.
I'm going to kick it a couple of times in the chest.
Throw some holy water at it.
Double tap.
Fiala also subject. Oh, did you heal one too many gifts
No,
of the
don't,
Isharis?
don't. Yeah, no.
I was going to say, holy crap.
That was a joke.
Don't joke around the DM. So,
6 seconds has passed. You need to make another saving throw for hit.
yes, I do actually. 6 seconds has passed.
Fiala,
That is
move your spirit
one
to
of
hit.
those. Hit is still unconscious. He is unmoving. His breathing is shallow.
I touch hit with Gift of Ashari for the
No,
third
just
time.
move your
I'm
spirit
right
across.
here. Oh, I'm right here. I'm gonna
Just
touch him.
move your spirit across. It's going to heal
She
him
will do.
better.
She will do whatever she wants to do. She's right
I
there.
am
Let
my
her do
own
her
wood
thing.
elf. Thank you.
Arguments
On the
amongst
table.
the party.
And pour a potion down his neck.
No, you don't.
What do you mean, no, I don't?
No, you don't, because she's already been healed.
Okay.
So, Fiala, you cast your Gift of the Show for the third time. Today?
Yes. 4 plus 4, that's 8.
So 8 points of
Yeah.
healing hit. Your eyes flicker open. You are hurt. You were on the brink of death.
I
You felt
am hurt.
you felt your spirit was ready to leave your body. That's how close
I
to death
have
you
been
were.
talking to the spirits. Wow.
The
is this
steel
what it feels
lady
like?
was standing over you, waiting to take you to the nether realms, but she said it was not your time.
Yes,
and
I saw
sent you back.
her. The steel lady was there. But then I saw the chains from the rattlehead, and they pulled me back. But I was being dragged by a deer, I'm sure of it.
So with that, you guys are out of initiative combat. You now have the bodies. Well, actually, you don't have the bodies of the witch and the demons. As you observe, with the demise, the bone demons have all scattered into bits of bone across the room. The body of the witch has basically turned into ash. The Bone Devil has returned to the Nine Hells as the fiery portal opens up beneath its body and returns it from whence it came. So all you have to show that you've even had a combat is your own injuries, your own experiences, and the dead bodies of Riffic and Jeremy in the guild hall. What are you doing, guys? Actually, before we do anything, we're going to take a break right there. 9:30 on the dot. Right, we're going to take a short break, ladies and germs. Team, think about what you're going to do when we get back. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate it. Let's go through and just get some hosts here. We've had some hosts come up. Shuki Lynn, we've had a host from... Who else did we had here? I saw some other hosts come up. I did see them. Hang on, I know where I can find them. They're all over here. Dashboard. Right, we had a whole bunch of hosts. We had Elder Soul, Gung Ho Guy, Thoughtless Doom. We had host from Shikilin as well. Thank you guys for that. Appreciate it. Yes, Alessandros.
What challenge rating was that?
I'm not telling you.
That was harsh.
You guys are getting good, so I got to start throwing a few more heavy things at you. So, you may find out the challenge rating of that creature at some stage, but I'm not telling you because it was most of the creatures I'm now using are homebrew, based on official stats, but just changed slightly. So certain people can't go looking stat blocks up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I'll be right back, chat. Got to go have a pee break and. Dog's inside. That's probably why I didn't go ape shit. But I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for hanging out with us again tonight. Our combat is resolved. We'll be back to see what the group is going to do next. Alright, I am back. I'm back. We'll go to this scene for a moment, just while we're waiting for the team to come back. So, chat. People are dead. Things are dead. Het was almost dead. It was pretty close.
Hit knows, you sign up to be an adventurer, man, you take what's coming
Oh,
to
yeah.
you.
I rolled a natural 1 on that first death save, by the way.
Oh, I was going to ask you what the death saves are like.
So you were very close. You were very, very close to dying.
I don't know if he'd ate Jeremy or not, Drax.
Well, it's possible that he'd ate Jeremy. He doesn't know yet.
I always try to keep, when I play casters, to the rear, but there's always that occasion where things appear from behind, and you
Yep.
just get trapped.
That's the whole reason it was done. She was smart.
Yes, Raya.
Right, the difference though is Raya doesn't keep to the rear. Raya just rolls.
Raya just rocks in into melee combat when she shouldn't roll into melee combat.
He doesn't.
Yes, Savage. I roll the death saves for this group, and it's something we're going to discuss in session 0 for you guys as well. It just makes them. The reason I do it, the reason I initially offered it to the group was because it just makes things a little more intense during combat, because you're not only worrying about yourself, but you're also worrying about your compatriots when they do go down. You have no idea how close to death they are. Just like you would in a regular battle. I mean, a comrade goes down, you don't know if they're dead or unconscious or what, so you just don't know. So it just makes it that little bit more intense, and it means that any healer that you have in your group, or any person that has healing potions or and such, has to be a little bit more onto it. And obviously with this particular battle, the witch was intelligent, so she knew, got to take down those casters first. That's why she targeted Het and Fiala specifically, initially.
Lucky we have 2 healers.
And yeah, and that's exactly it. If the group had only had a single caster healer, then that fight could have turned out awfully different. I can run them through. They're real basic house rules. Why we've got obviously DM rolls death saves. The other house rule we agreed on was that all store-bought potions do maximum effect. So any potion that's bought from a vendor or given through the guild does its maximum amount. So if it's a healing spell, then a healing potion does its maximum heal instead of rolling for it. If it's a crafted potion, depending on the roll at the craft, if it succeeds on the DC, then it is maximum. If it fails the DC, it has to be rolled upon. The other house rule that the team agreed on was that whenever you are rendered unconscious, you gain 1 level of exhaustion, and it takes a full 24 hours of rest and light duties to remove that level of exhaustion, not just a long rest. So you have the person has to rest for an entire day to remove that exhaustion. And that's essentially about it. The rest of the homebrew rules, like bonus action to take a potion and things like that, we call them on the fly. If I make a decision, then that decision sticks for the rest of the game. So it works both ways. If I make a decision to aid these guys in a particular scenario, then obviously the monsters can do the same thing. So it's give and take. So we run with very few homebrew rules or house rules that are just a few basic ones. So everyone back?
Yeah.
Yeah. No worries, dude. Glad you stopped by and hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate it. So let's get back into the show. Back over to the main scene here. So, guys, your combat has ended. You are reeling at the events that have just unfolded. You turn and look, Alessandros, the doors are actually closed. They were never opened in the first place. The place is shut up tight. What are you doing?
Het is sitting on the floor, tending his own wounds.
We should probably inform the guard about poor Jeremy.
Just check the rooms, make sure that no one else is in there, or
So you're going to check
dead
the rest
or
of the guild
alive.
hall?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, you've got the bodies of Riffic and Jeremy in the main guild hall with you. You do a quick run around. You now are able to open those doors. You check Riffic's office. The office has been turned upside down, inside out. It is an absolute mess. What weapons were there are gone. Looks like a whole bunch of paperwork is missing as well. It's just an absolute. The whole space has been turned over. You then check out the back, which would have been Jeremy's little room, which looked like a broom closet every time you opened the door, but it was like a little alcove. You stepped into the kitchen area, where the pantry and stuff was. There's still a lot of food and stuff there, but again, there was a fight going on in there as well. It looks like Jeremy has probably put up a bit of a fight, even as old as he was. So there was pretty. It's been pretty ransacked. You then head upstairs to the rooms. The rooms you guys are in, obviously nothing's been touched. One thing you do notice as you go room to room, the rooms with windows, it's still dark out. It's not even daytime yet. So this whole thing, you now believe the whole thing was illusionary. You had been woken and tricked into this being daytime. But nothing else seems to be missing or broken or anything upstairs. Everything else is pretty much as it should be. So
What time of day?
it's probably it's early mornings, before sunup, so probably 5:30, 6ish. A good couple of hours before you guys are actually due to be woken.
I think we need to go and see. I think we need to wake up Gorham. Let him know what's happened.
Agreed.
First, Sadiq, you look shattered. Let me aid you with a... Oh, I need something bigger than my bonus action heal. I'm going to aid you with a larger healing. I shall ask the Steel Lady to help you, and he puts his hand on Sadiq's shoulder and gives him a second level cure wounds. That will be 17 points of healing to you, Sadiq.
I chuckle, look at Het and go, "You don't look much better."
Nope, I don't. But you're the one who has to be up in the forefront, so it's for you. There you go, take it. The Steel Lady always
Yeah.
aids the ones who need.
Oh, we're definitely in need now, Het.
So, Sadiq, what's it feel like to go down?
It was about to ask us.
Oh, well
It's
done.
very tiring.
Oh dear.
Oh, well done, team. Well done. So,
Het contemplated not saving you, but then Het thought, this is too much at stake. It is not just goblins and kobolds.
Stick me head outside, see if I can see any guards roaming around.
you open the main doors and you sort of sit outside, and like I said, it's still dark out, so no one's on the street, which could account for the not hearing anything with the illusion. But after about 4 or 5 minutes, you do see a patrol doing their regular rounds. There's patrols all over the city. Couple of guards just wandering.
Just a question, with the orders that we got from the higher up in this town, does that mean we can order the guards to do what we want as well?
No,
Within reason?
no. You can. Yeah, I mean, you've gotten what I would say would be an understanding. They know who you are, and there is a certain element of respect there. But they take their orders from the captain of the guard, which is what's his face, Breton Hart. But I mean, they would, if you were to tell them what's going on, they'd definitely probably report it if that's what you're looking at doing. You can't order them to do anything, but
I was just going to get them to guard it while we went to what's the name.
you could definitely ask them to do that. I mean, have the conversation. You never know what will happen.
What do you guys think?
Sounds like a good idea. Was there anybody else in the guild house? Because I'm sure we aren't the only ones staying here at the moment.
In fact, you were the only ones spending that evening in the guild house. Normally there would be other guild parties coming in and out, but at this particular evening, it's almost like it was probably planned that way, to have you obviously in the guild house alone. The only other two members of the guild was obviously Jeremy, who's always there, and Riffin, who's obviously the guild headmaster, so he lives in the guild house.
Hit wants to check the doors to outside and see what the street looks like.
Alessandros is standing at the doors, and it looks like a normal street. Nighttime, the sky is sort of a little overcast, but there's a few stars poking through, bit of moonlight.
Was it coming into morning at all, or were we still
by
completely dark?
by this stage, I'd say you're probably just breaking into the early dawn. So the sky's going from that dark onyx black into the early sort of purples and crimsons of sunrise.
It wants to see, is there any activity in the street?
Just that one patrol sort of heading towards the guild now that Alessandra has spied. They're probably about 80, 90 feet away from you at this point.
I call
Okay.
over.
You're going to call them over? It's sort of, they acknowledge you and sort of look a little confused, but they head over. They're carrying spear and a shield, both of them. Big. One's a half-orc. The other guy looks like he's probably human. They sort of open it, and the half-orc sort of looks and goes, "Oh, what is it? What's wrong?"
We've had an incident in the guild. We need you to watch the doors while we go get some help.
Well, what type of incident?
Someone else can explain that one.
What's
They're
happened?
all dead.
Who's all
Someone
dead?
Killed Jeremy and Riffic.
What? You killed Griffith and Jeremy?
Someone else has.
And then you get the sense this guy's new, and his human friend sort of gives him a nudge and says, "These guys are the lions." All right then. Sure. Well, do you want us to report it? I can send this dude off to the captain and get him to dispatch a regiment. Or do you just want us to wait here?
That would probably be best.
Okay, so he says, I'll stay here then, and Harold, go wake up the captain. Tell him what's happening here. And with that, the half-orc stands at the door, sort of almost right in the center of the light. He allows you guys to sort of walk out, and then stands in the center, shield up, spear, ready to guard the door in case anyone decides to come along. Harold, is a human friend, runs off. You can hear his armor sort of clattering as he runs off down the street towards the barracks. So what are we up to, guys?
Okay. What are we gonna do in the meantime?
Should we head to Coram Mordan?
I think that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, let's do that.
So you guys are in agreement. You're going to head to speak to Coram.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it takes you about an hour from. It's about an hour, just over an hour from. It's probably more like an hour and a half to get to the centre of the city where Corum's estate home is. By the time you get there, the sun has just started to peak, so those purples and sort of oranges have turned into reds and then into the blues of the day. And you reach Corum's estate. The guards on the gate recognise you straight away, and with a little bit of back and forth, you are allowed through and approach the house. You get to the door, you knock on the door. His servant or manservant answers the door. Again, this guy never speaks. He sort of nods and waves you in to the study where you've met with Corum before. And after about 10 or 15 minutes, Corum does come down. He's not fully dressed, like he hasn't got his normal robes on. He's almost like in a smoking jacket with pants and boots. He's probably not long woken himself, and he sort of comes in, sits down behind his desk and folds his hands in front and says, "Oh, good morning. My servant here tells me that something has happened. Something bad, I would assume. Otherwise, you'd not be here at this hour. What is going on?"
Fiala, you can explain.
Riffic and Jeremy at the guild hall have been slaughtered, and we woke up with a witch and something from the Nine Hells attacking us. And you can see from the way we look, we barely made it out.
And he sort of bows his head a little bit. You can see he's sort of thinking, sort of pondering over what you've just said. And he says to you guys, "You say a demon from the hells and a witch. Poor Jeremy. I've known him since he was a small boy. Loyal, very, very loyal to the guild for most of his life. And, well, Riffic, he was a soldier. He knew the risks. But to be slaughtered like that is truly, truly horrible. Who do you believe is behind this? Do you have any clue as to why the guild house was targeted?"
The witch did say to us to keep us busy for a while, or entertained.
And she said her master was Kothis.
So but why? Why would Kosis brazenly attack in the city? I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think it's because we got under his skin, right, Sadiq?
Maybe.
What do you mean you got under his skin? Are you saying that you have met with Kosis?
Yeah, just the other day, and I may have told him to go back and perform an action on his boss's rear end.
You did what? And you can see.
Oh yeah,
you can see he's trying.
Moment.
You can see he's trying not to crack a smile. Like he gets it. He really does. But he's also trying to be. He's trying to be the leader of a city, so he's trying to be serious about it. But you can see he's trying not to crack that smile. And he sort of sits back in his chair, sighs deeply. Well, it appears that the lions have ruffled a few scales.
Yep. I've definitely annoyed some people.
For Kosis to come here, of all places. I mean, his power is definitely growing if he's able to breach the veils, and obviously it was in humanoid form. We would have noticed a dragon in the city. So his power is growing, definitely. So things are moving very quickly. we've also had word of other incidences. Just one moment, and he sort of rummages through his desk to find a piece of paper, a parchment, and he sort of grabs his piece of paper and says, we've had some reports here telling us that there's a village of Helond in the Grim March to the west has been overrun by undead. If you were able, if you could travel there at your earliest convenience and eradicate these forces as quickly as possible. They're a small village, but their trade and that is paramount to the region. If it was to be lost, the whole region would be plunged into chaos. This came to me within the last day or so. I was going to present it to you today myself, but if you could do that as quickly as possible, it would certainly aid our efforts. And I believe that the Goliath clan that you are seeking is also in the same region this time of year, so 2 birds, 1 stone. It's quite possible. And he hands, who's going to take the parchment? He hands it over.
Yeah, I'll take the parchment. And I go, so how far of a ride is it to this place?
Grimmarch is quite some distance. Let me bring up my map.
Didn't you have something with Grim on it or something like that?
Yes, it had some notes that said, Grim, let me check them.
While Het's doing that, I ask our commander, would it be idea to have a building for us, like not the guild hall anymore, seeing everybody knows where we are?
We can ward the guild hall. The guild is probably the best place for you right now, and in fact, with Riffic now departed, we will have to appoint a new headmaster. That may take some time, but in the interim, I will appoint the Lions interim guild leaders. So any guild activity, essentially, you are the guild right now. We haven't been taking on new members since the start of this prophecy, and we've lost more than we've gained. So at the moment, you are it. So for now, that is probably the best place for you. I will send word to Thorfinn to ward the guild building against any more of these attacks.
Thank you.
So, if you're looking at your map, you bring out your map and he points to Grimmarch. You have to go through Riley River, which is the westernmost province. You then will go through the Gloomy Marsh. Take the, which, Sadiq, you would actually know the Grimmarch region, not well, but you know where it is, because Beepole is in the Grimmarch region of Paradigm.
And to answer
Beepool.
To answer Fiele, I have the notes on the Grim March. There's the Iron Flask, possibly, and some other things guarded by the great tentacle beast with eyes. That is the information I had. So there is something else for us to do in that area as well.
Speaking of the Iron Flask, I pull it out of my pocket and I go, what, this thing?
Yes, you have already retrieved the Iron Flask.
Okay, so there's other stuff at the place where the Eye Tentacle Beast is.
Yes, rumoured to be with the Eye Tentacle Beast was the Carpet of Flying, the Rod of Resurrection, Apollo's Bow, and a few other items potentially as well.
And on that note, I hand the sword to Inari and the flask to Het.
So Inari, you have been given the Frostbrand scimitar.
Okay, why?
It is in your inventory. It's in D&D Beyond if you wanted to equip it. You can ask the question. I mean, you are a ranger after all.
Why do I get the scimitar?
Well, you already have a scimitar and this one does frost damage, so...
True.
There you go.
And we assume you're proficient with scimitars.
Yes.
Right, so, yes, so with that, the Iron Flask is also on D&D Beyond hit, so that'll be in the list
Cool.
as
I
well.
am looking that up now.
Very cool item, Head.
It is a very cool item indeed. To
I
give the
think
chat
this-
a bit of information.
Ooh, so is a scimitar.
Yes, the scimitar is very cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say, Head, this might be a way for us to save Namaris.
So the Iron Flask, ladies and gentlemen of the chat, is an iron bottle, has a brass stopper. You can use an action to speak the flask's command word, targeting a creature that you can see within 60 feet. If the target is native to the plane of existence other than the one you're on, the target must succeed a DC 17 wisdom saving throw or be trapped in the flask. If the target has been trapped by the flask before, it has advantage on the saving throw. Once trapped, the creature remains in the flask until released. The flask can hold only one creature at a time. A creature trapped in the flask doesn't need to breathe, eat, or drink and does not age. You can use an action to remove the flask stopper and release the creature from the flask contains. The creature is friendly to you and your companions for 1 hour and obeys your commands for the duration. If you give no commands or give it a command that it's likely to result in its death, it defends itself but otherwise takes no actions. At the end of the duration, the creature acts in accordance with its normal disposition and alignment. So, an identity spell reveals that a creature is inside the flask, which is what you have indeed got when you identified it. The only way to determine this creature is to open the flask by rolling a D100, basically. So you have a list of potential creatures that are in this flask by rolling the D100. So there is a creature already in it, potentially.
That is an excellent tool. It will not open it until we maybe are in a battle again, and that could be something helpful or empty, one or the other.
I'll do the D100 roll now to see what's actually in there, and then you can make that decision. Or is that one that you
Well,
make? Eagle?
once you
That's one I make.
once you open it though, that's the only way to find out. This is how I'm reading it,
Yep. You got to open it, unfortunately, to find that out.
and that will
Yeah,
release
it's
it.
friendly
only
for an hour.
for
But
1
yeah,
hour.
what I was thinking is we could use it on Namaris or whatever she's going by now, until we can, have the means to actually properly separate.
And just to give the chat a bit of insight into the Frostbrand Scimitar, when you hit an attack, when an attack with his using his magic sword, the target takes an extra 1d6 cold damage. In addition, while you hold the sword, you have resistance to fire damage. In freezing temperatures, the blade sheds bright light in 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. When you draw this weapon, you can extinguish all non-magical flames within 30 feet. Can only be used once per hour. So, that is a pretty cool
So
weapon.
I can equip it for like my first.
You can equip it now. It is attuned, so you have to spend at least a long rest with it to attune it before its effects. Before it takes effect, so you just have to literally have it equipped on your person and have a long rest with it, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be an awesome weapon for Het because ice and ice, but Het doesn't use swords.
Yes, unfortunately,
But
it is not very good with him.
But also too, I mean, just as a side note, just to give you guys a little bit of insight into that, it would also benefit from fire resistance because he is
This
vulnerable.
is true.
You are facing potentially a fire dragon.
Yes.
Hmm.
It does not
I'll-
normally stand in the fire.
I look at Hit and I look at Sadiq and I'm like, do I give you this instead?
So he gets the resistance if he has the sword drawn?
Just has to be on his person and attuned.
Or it just has to be on his person, and then he has
As long as
resistance.
it's attuned and he has it equipped, doesn't have to have it drawn.
I think maybe we should give Het the scimitar.
That might actually be the better choice. Het, what do you think?
Het feels guilty to be taking items from the group. Maybe that
Oh,
flask can
for
go to
fuck's
someone else.
sake, just take it.
Nara's really happy with her crossbow. Longbow.
Okay, Het will take it, but if anyone needs the iron flask, they may have that in their person. I'm just saying.
Coram then chimes in while you guys are discussing this as well and says, Het, I don't think it's about who has the item. You are working as a team after all, and so it's about defeating Kosis in the end. If the sword helps you survive that much longer, then it is in the right place. And also the flask, if it does indeed hold a creature that can aid you, then that is a good thing. If it does not hold anything, as the others have pointed out, you may be able to trap Nemaris in it for a time until you can discover a way to free her from her bonds.
Sounds like a plan. I tell you what, that's some good advice, team. I shall take the sword if no one objects, and I shall
Not at all.
hold the flask until it's needed.
Wait a minute. Is Namaris technically possessed by this other creature?
She will be under a form of a charm spell, I believe. It can be dispelled, but it will take a high-level caster to do so.
No, because I'm just thinking, would we be able to use the flask on the creature and entrap it, but not Namaris? Which would then technically sever the link?
Somehow I don't believe you would be able to trap Asmodeus in said flask. He would be far too powerful for this. She is under the command of the King of Hell at this point in time.
Well, crap. That would have been easier.
If only it was that easy. I mean, I spent 2 years in the same condition as she now finds herself. It is not fun. I did things that I'm not proud of, things that I will remember and that will haunt me for the rest of my days, and I'm going to live for a long time. But I'm doing everything I can to atone for those things, even though it was not in my control to do so. But she will need you when and if you are able to restore her, because she will not be, how we say, not unaffected by the things she will be doing between now and when you may face her again. But, as I said, we have the village in Grimmarch to protect. There is, obviously, you have information on more potential items. You've obviously found potential whereabouts of those other items in Grimmarch, which is a good thing. And as I said, the Goliath clan normally roams in the plains of Grimmarch this time of year. And I believe, Sadiq, that some of your old clan may have survived and are now roaming with this Goliath clan. If we can secure,
I've heard that too.
if we can secure their aid, then we have more protection against the undead and evil and fiendish minions when the time comes to defend this city. Your clan was paramount in this task all those years ago. If it was not for them, this city would have fallen without a shadow of a doubt. Their tactics and skills are second to none. If they're running with the Goliaths, then the Goliaths' tactics and skill in combat are virtually unmatched also. So this is something we at least have to try to do. I'm not sure.
think the white dragons
Ildri's,
in that way too.
Ildri's lair is to the north of the Howling Mountains. So we believe. No one's ever found it, but that's where it is rumored to be. Grimmarch is too far to the west. I mean, you could search the mountains there if you wish while you were there, but all our research has led us to believe that it's in the north of the Howling Mountains, which is our region.
There anymore.
What's that?
I don't believe the White Dragon's there anymore.
You don't believe she's there? But her lair still exists. We know that the lair is there, and there are probably items there that would aid us as well. Whether she's there or not matters not really. We need all the aid we can get. Information, items. I probably think it's best that you search the lair nonetheless, whether she's there or not. If you find her, then great. We could possibly beg her forgiveness on the council's behalf and her aid, if she is even willing to help us at all at this point. But the decision is yours. I leave these things in your capable hands. As I said, at this point, I appoint you the Lions of Valon's interim guild leaders. Essentially what that'll mean is any guild members that return from their assignments will just need assurances that the guild will carry on and that a new headmaster will be appointed in due course. At the moment, they are to carry out and continue their tasks in aiding you in whatever they can do to slow down the encroaching undead, fiendish and abyssal attacks across the realms. Is there anything else that you wish to discuss while you're here?
Nothing comes to mind.
How about we stock up and head out?
Hit just wants to know, is there a safer place that we can bed down? The enemy was able to get into where we were at the guild hall whilst we were sleeping, get into our heads, I guess, with an illusion that we could barely detect. We need to know that we are safe as well. Have you something to aid us in that?
I will go speak to Thorfi this morning, and we'll have wards put in place to ensure that your safety. Don't worry, Master Het. They will not be able to breach the city again. We have been probably a little more relaxed than I would have liked. I will speak to the mages and ensure that wards are put up around the city to stop Kosis and his ilk from invading the city further. Obviously, when the final attack does eventuate, the mages will have to be utilized elsewhere, so those wards will no longer be in place. But until then, Valond is on magical lockdown. The virus that is Kosis will not infect the city further.
Oh crap. Okay. Right, as long as we we got right under that guy's, Sadiq especially. He does not like us at all, so we need to be definitely making sure that our people of the city are safe.
As I said, I will go to the mages, and it won't be just the mages of Valond. They will send messages across the realms to ensure that our major cities are warded against more attacks. It's unfortunately our outlying towns and villages that are most vulnerable at this point. Hence why we need to get you guys to Hillond and Grimmarch as soon as possible. That's maybe a small town, but it is a central hub for trade routes, and we cannot lose it. If we do, Gloomy Marsh will be cut off from the rest of the realm on that area, and soon so will we. The produce and things that are brought in from Grimmarch, we need to keep these efforts going. Food, water, these are the things that they're going to attack next, I would imagine, try and disrupt us in any way possible.
Sadiq and I believe we're going to need a bit of stretch in bed and maybe some light duties for a day before we can actually do any more. Maybe we best get to resting.
I was just thinking about that. If we had a cart and we rested in the cart while someone else was driving, we could go on the road and rest while we're traveling.
You certainly
It
could.
sounds like a plan. The only thing that would stop that is if the cart gets attacked or something and we would have to break from whatever rest we might be having. But it could work.
Well, it's the same thing. We could get attacked while we're
Yes,
Yeah,
we're going to ask you
here.
for your horse.
Well, Inari, Fiala and I only need to meditate for 4 hours.
Yeah, well, I must. How I see it is, we can pretty much continuously travel if we use the cart as the resting spot and someone else drives, which would probably be
To travel from
our lucky elves.
To travel from the Howling Mountains to Grimmarch by horse and cart will be a harrowing journey. Probably 2 to 3 weeks. It's clear across the realms. It's definitely. I mean, you could definitely do it and rest in the process. But if you take a day here to rest, the mages could teleport you to the nearest largest city in Grimmarch.
Well, there's that too. We could use that. Keep on forgetting about the teleporter.
Maybe you're right though, Sadiq. That's not a bad plan in the future. If we teleport after rest and make plans for horses and cart on the other side, then when we are dueling in that area, we can be doing the same thing in the further states if we ever. Well, I mean, seems like a good plan.
We could even make an armored cart, and that way that's our camp.
Yes, we buy a cart, we take the wheels off it, we lower the cart down a bit, make the wheels a lot larger than they need to be, and then we paint flames up the side. And with the horses, maybe we could put some special armor on the horses too. I've heard of this mage called Nitrous who does special advancements on horses.
I pinch my nose and start shaking my head from side to side and go.
Corum face palms loudly.
I just look at Corum like they really need sleep.
Yes, I believe you are right. Now take your leave, Lions. Get your rest. I will speak to the mages and Torfi. We'll ward the city. You'll be quite safe. You will be able to rest and recuperate. Make your plans for your travels. I will come and see you in a day if I have any more information that may aid you. And with that, he stands and
Before you go,
waves you to the door.
To the guild hall.
Can't hear you, Alejandros. You're too quiet.
Sorry.
Something about guild hall.
Can we get some cleaners into the guild hall?
Well, you are the new headmasters. That is your job. I do not do clean. No, he sniggers to himself. He says, "I will get on that straight away. We will hire some new staff."
Do you know of a good business that has domestic staff that we can hire?
I'm sure we can arrange to have some domestic staff sent over. The Squirrel and Hydra, I believe, is your old haunt. If you really wish not to stay at the guild hall, I would suggest the Squirrel and Hydra would be your secondary option. I'm quite sure that Iraf would be more than happy to see you again.
Well, that sounds nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I like the idea of the guild hall. Then we're only putting people that are actually adventurers in danger. If we are,
believe me, Iraf can. He may not look like much, but you may not know, was a former member of the Adventurers Guild, and is quite a capable warrior. He'll never admit that, of course, but and his staff are all members of various guilds across the realms. Most of the city have been members at some stage or other. Very few of the city now actually has not been involved in some form over the years. But it is, again, your call.
Let us
Discuss
go and
it.
get food and drink.
Yeah, we can always
Mate.
go there for entertainment and then sleep back at the guild.
There is that.
Sounds like
I
a
think
good
you-
idea.
I think you're right, Sadiq. I don't want to endanger the rest of the city. I guess that would be a good option.
And with that, Quorum stands and waves you towards the door. And you guys get up and walk out. You leave the manor home of Quorum Mordan. He retires to obviously go do what he needs to do. You leave the grounds and head back towards the guild hall. When you do get there, the half-orc guard is still standing there. You enter the guild hall. The bodies of Riffic and Jeremy have been removed. Brett and Hart is also there, and he's got a few of his guard are actually starting the cleanup process. Obviously picking up chairs that have been knocked over and cleaning up the blood and such. And he turns and greets you guys as you enter. You've returned. Sad day for the city, losing a great warrior like Riffic, and poor Jeremy. I knew him well. So, tell me, the guard says that they were murdered. They didn't give me any details. What transpired here? Anybody?
Speak.
We
Um,
were enchanted by a witch, and basically a
Speak
massive
up.
fight happened. So we killed the witch, killed the bony creature, and some skeletons, and then everything disappeared. And there was Jeremy and Riffic.
Well,
Closest as minions.
the mages did warn us of such events could possibly happen. We didn't expect it quite so soon. You can see he's unshaven. He's obviously been woken up. He's put his armor on, but his armor's not quite done up properly. And he sort of folds his arms and says, "Right. Well, I will double the guard on the wall and double the patrols. I think that's probably the best course of action here. And if there's anything you need, as far as horses, things such, don't hesitate to come and see me. Any word on Nemaris? I know she's potentially under some form of spell, but have you any news about what can be done?"
Well, we're thinking maybe we can stick her in this bottle like a genie.
Or maybe a powerful dispel magic. We don't know yet.
Right. I don't know much about magics. I know about axes and swords and things. Right. I must head back to the barracks and organise the extra guard. And he turns and says to the two young guard, you can see they're probably more like page boys more than guard, and says, "You lot finish up here and then get back to the barracks. Time to start your training." And he sort of heads out and sort of nods as he leaves the guild house and leaves you to it. So after about sort of half an hour, 40 minutes, the two young chaps finish their clean up and they head back to the barracks as instructed. You are currently at the guild house on your own. No staff as yet. That hasn't been organised thus far. You're probably about lunchtime-ish by this point.
Hitch retreats up the stairs towards his room and says, I need to lie down. Thank you, and good night. And he sort of slumps, and he slumps up the stairs, holding the banister, barely making each step.
And everybody else, what are you up to?
I go into the pantry, get a pitcher of mead and a tankard, and then go upstairs to my room to
Roger
drink
that.
and sleep.
No problem. Everybody
Follow
else?
suit.
I retreat to the corner by the fireplace and just meditate for a little while.
Okay. And Alessandros, you're going to your room as well?
I'm going to. I'm pretty much doing what Sadiq did.
Drinking? Okay. Drinking your sorrows away. Fiela.
I'm gonna go to Nari and say, since we don't need as much sleep, what do you say? I'll take 4 hours sleep and then I'll take watch.
Sounds good to me.
So I'm
And
gonna go up and go to sleep.
and with that, I mean, it's daytime, but you guys are pretty well shattered after your events of the early morning. And with that, we will call the show there, guys. We're pretty close to the end anyway. Thank you very much, players, for your participation once again. Amazing show. We're going to get some XP. Barry MC, what's up? You're playing a dwarf moon druid. Nice. Yes, we got
That
some.
would actually be a cool mix.
Different. It's a dwarf druids. Interesting. Very interesting. Welcome to all the new people in the chat. Wyo Morris. I think I said your name properly. If I didn't, I'm sorry. But thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome to Evil's Lair. My name's Evldoa. This is our D&D Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign, a homebrew campaign. Runs every Sunday night, 7:30 New Zealand Standard Time through to about 10:30. Like I said at the start of the show, if you missed it, we are going to be starting a second campaign, Curse of Strahd, official module campaign on Thursdays at 11 a.m. New Zealand Standard Time, which will be Wednesday nights for you guys in America. We've got some new players coming in for that. So at the moment, all my gaming has been put on hold, so there's no scheduled gaming, but I will be doing the occasional stream during the week for different things. So just hang out in the Discord, !Discord. We'll give you the Discord details if you want to hang out in the Discord and chat with us occasionally, or check me out on Twitter, !Social for that. All the details there, so definitely check that out. But yeah, so at the moment, main focus is the D&D. So we need to get some XP. So we're looking at. There's the YouTube channel, all the VODs. Tonight's VOD will be uploaded on Tuesday. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, guys. It is we're 2 subs away on our YouTube to getting our custom URL. You went a bit overboard with his backstory? Sometimes you do. Yes, so as Baz just put in the chat there, we are going to organise a one-shot at some stage too to do on stream with Het DMing. So once we get that organised and Baz will organise the links to the campaign through his D&D Beyond, we'll be able to do it on the Discord. We'll probably easier if we use this Discord for it, but things will be done slightly differently than we do on this. The way I do my minis and stuff, we may be able to do something similar. Just depends, but we're looking into the logistics of it. But definitely keep an eye out for information on that. So XP tonight, guys, 2,500 each. You get 1,700 each for the combat, and we'll do another 700, 800 for RP. Another good night for RP. You guys did really well. Combat was awesome. You guys did exceptionally well with that. It was a hard fight. It was intended to potentially kill someone, so I'm glad it didn't.
I missed the XP. What was it?
2,500 total. So
So you tried to kill us?
I did. I tried to kill you. Well, I tried to kill at least one of you, but
You nearly succeeded.
I mean, it wasn't intended on like actually killing someone, but I wanted it to be hard. I wanted it to actually be a challenge. The last few combats, you guys have breezed through pretty easily, especially with the Enclave Archer, who seems to just destroy things with massive hits, and your Blood Hunter champion that you have with you guys. And obviously, with 2 healers in the group, you definitely have a little bit more longevity than most groups. So I had to make things a little harder. Old man Henderson level of backstory. Face has tats. Yeah, one of my characters, I have a rogue that I played in Baz's campaign that is covered in, has tattoos all down one half of his body, basically, and they're all enchanted tattoos. It's pretty cool. Punish the weaker healers for the tougher turn. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Yanti also has a intricate elven tattoo of a cave bear down one whole side of her body as well. You wanted something silly? Awesome. That's what it's all about, though, guys. Like D&D is to me, it's about having fun. I mean, you can make it serious, but there's a lot to be said about just having fun, being silly. As you can see with this group, with some of the shit that comes out during RP.
I think we're very serious.
I'll be back in
I
just a
liked my
second.
armored cart idea. I
coffee.
thought that was awesome.
Oh, the armored cart idea was great. Even the mage named Nitrous was kind of interesting.
You just want a caravan.
Oh, it's easier because you just pull it over on the side of the road and there's your camping spot. You don't have to freaking...
Exactly. Well, I mean, the thing is that there's nothing wrong with the idea. I think the idea of taking horse and cart and being able to armored, you can definitely do it. I mean, visit a blacksmith. I mean, why not? I mean, a covered...
But it must have a round bed, Fiona.
A round bed, yes. It must be a 5-person cart. Tandem.
And make it into a road train. Each person has their own car.
Exactly. You could turn it into a western wagon circle. Circle up the wagons. Engines are attacking.
Would you have steam engine capability?
No, there is.
Get a gnome to make it. And...
I would say in this realm, probably not yet. There probably is a tinker out there that's probably attempting it, but not. I don't think any of you guys would know anything about that at this point. In this world, probably not to that extent yet. It's run to the hills. Yeah, right. We've always got to run to the hills, man. That's the safest place. But awesome session again tonight, guys. Loved it. It was amazing. Chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you to the new follows. All the hosts, you guys rock. Having new people come into the D&D world is what I'm aiming for anyway. Try and bring new people in, which is why we're starting the second campaign. 2 brand new players in that campaign. So we've got Deathvale from Mixer. We have Twin Gates Gaming from here on Twitch. We've got Mr. Malice from here on Twitch. And Savage Beastco is actually a regular member of our chat and started this campaign with us. Unfortunately, due to IRL stuff, couldn't continue, but he's able to now be involved in our next campaign.
We didn't want him because he killed his last team.
Well, yeah, there was that. I mean, Gillian was a bit of a psycho.
Not only that, being in the States kind of makes it hard for him to.
The time zones
always be.
The time zones were a bit of a bitch, so that's why we've now. The second campaign is catering specifically for the American audience as well, so it's being during the day. But it is what it is. Things do happen, and we're able to bring people in and do what we need to do. His dad's name is Iron. Did you only just click to that? Hit
Jack
Maiden?
just got it.
Oh dear.
Dude.
Crap.
And yeah. and Het from James Hetfield. I mean, come on, guys. Or is it just the fact that I know my brother that well that I kind of picked it from day one? He's all metal. I mean, come on. It's the seventh son of a seventh son, guys. Seriously.
Right. This is gonna be like one of those movies where you watch it the second time and you pick up all the things you missed. Drax, it's gonna be this campaign for you.
Pretty much.
Like secrets and you know, Easter eggs and things like that.
Yeah, I mean that's why we did
All
the
that stuff going on.
yeah, we did the competition with the Megadeth references the other week. That was part of it. We're probably going to do something similar to that in the future. Do another Steam game giveaway with some references from our Bardic friend. Yeah. But I do appreciate everyone coming by tonight. We are going to raid though. We got 22, so we're definitely going to raid. Who should we raid? Should we raid another D&D stream? Or should we raid a friend to the stream? Who's on?
Ooh.
It says D&D.
D&D. Or should we raid a friend to the stream? Let's see if we've got any D&Ders on tonight. Not in my list, so let's have a search. Bros. Dungeons and Dragons. Intrinsic. Oh, Intrinsic's hosting. Sup, dude. We're just finishing up, my friend, but we're going to look for another D&D stream to raid. Oh, these are Curse of Strahd. Stream got 9 viewers. Let's have a look, see what they're up to.
Let's do it.
Let me get it up.
Yep. So you've
So where are they from? They got no description, no nothing. They look like they're using Roll20, so it'll be.
So I'm going.
Looks like they've only just started too.
This wolf
Yep.
with the cantrip True Strike, which I'm trying to get.
Okay, we're gonna raid these guys.
Yep. No, I know what True Strike is. It's all good.
Cool.
They look like they're having a bit of fun.
For this on that.
There should be.
So on the next turn, on your next turn, you'll have advantage on an auto against.
They sound like it could be Aussies or Kiwis as well. So don't forget, guys. Yeah, you all get a long rest.
Unless you drop concentration.
So you can do that long rest before we start the next show. Again, thank you so much, everybody, players, viewers, followers, hosts, and resubs. Thank you guys so much. We've hit. We're almost back up to 20 subs. If we can get to 35 subs, we will get our next emote, which will be the natural one emote. We've got a natural 20. If we can get up to 35 subs, we get that natural one emote, and it'll give us those 2 emotes to spam whenever we get natural ones and natural 20s in the show. So if you are able to support, please do. If not, just hanging out is enough, and being a part of the chat and being a part of the community. As I say, join the Discord. Most information about both campaigns will go into the Discord and on Twitter, so do follow me on Twitter as well. Check out the YouTube, subscribe, 2 to go, we need it, 2 more and we get that custom URL. But until next time, guys, as I said, no scheduled gaming streams until further notice. So our next scheduled stream will be on Sunday, which will be next Sunday for the D&D. I may do a small stream on Thursday morning. Just talking about D&D, because we'll start getting into that schedule of being online at 11 o'clock for the new campaign. So if you want to come and hang out and talk D&D, come and see me Thursday morning. Until then, take care, stay the fuck at home, wash your hands, do all the things and stuff that the government tells you to do, within reason, of course. You don't want to do everything they tell you.
However, over here,
and we'll see you again.
Adok is being surrounded by 2 dark.